Why is it that people on the left get so giddy when they see people being murdered? This is common on the left, extremely rare on the right. Why is that? It's really not that complicated, unfortunately. Leftist policies can't survive without violence. Leftist policies have always and will always lose out to free market policies in a free society. They'll lose out in terms of economic power, in terms of the happiness and health of their citizens, in terms of their ability to defend their nation. In short, leftists cannot implement their policies through voluntary means, so they have no choice but to normalize and embrace violence against their political enemies. Ironically, and in all cases, whenever leftist societies do prevail, they inevitably turn their violent tendencies on their own people. After October 7th, there was open and gleeful celebration of the rape, murder, and torture of 1,500 Israeli men, women, and children, not by the Palestinians, who had perpetrated this horror, but by American students sitting in their comfortable chairs on their comfortable campuses, paid for through their daddy's success in the capitalist United States. When Donald Trump was shot, it was not at all uncommon in leftist circles to celebrate privately, and in some cases publicly. After all, he's a Nazi, and his followers are garbage, so why not celebrate? During the mostly peaceful George Floyd protests, it was perfectly acceptable to celebrate the hard work of small business people being burned to the ground. And also it was fine for huge groups of people to gather during COVID while our children were being fenced out of the parks that they used to play in. After all, the people rioting were from the oppressed class, so anything that they do is perfectly fine. When a healthcare executive was gunned down in cold blood on the streets of Manhattan, it was yet another cause for celebration, because the industry is evil and corrupt. Now keep in mind, this is the same industry that produced the vaccine that they were forcing people to get only a few short years earlier. Confused? You should be, because it makes no sense whatsoever. Unless and until you finally come to grips with what it really means to be a leftist. Above all other things, leftists value the ability to control the behavior of their fellow human beings. For them, it's absolutely abhorrent for free societies to allow their citizens to conduct their lives in the way that they want to conduct them. No, we can't have that. Your lives need to be conducted in the way that we think that they should be conducted. And if you're not on board with that, well, then using violence to get you on board is perfectly fine. I've heard it said before that leftists don't have love or empathy for anyone but themselves, but actually, I don't think that is actually correct. On the surface, they may be narcissistic, but there is a psychological thread of self-loathing that permeates leftist ideology. Leftists believe that human beings are evil, but when they look in the mirror, what do they see? If they're rich, they must hate themselves for being successful. If they're poor, well, they may tell themselves that their failure is someone else's fault, but there's a subconscious realization that it's their own bad decisions that put them where they are. If they're in the middle, they may hate themselves slightly less than the rich, but there are people below them on the socioeconomic ladder, so they must be one of society's oppressors. There are, after all, only two classifications of people on earth: the oppressors and the oppressed. Leftists will never miss an opportunity to tell you how much they value those who are less fortunate than they are. At the same time, of course, their actions make clear that they hold common people, those in the flyover states, for example, in absolute contempt. Considering this psychological stew, it's not really surprising that the left celebrates violence so frequently. And I don't see this changing, unfortunately. But the good news is that self-loathing, as it turns out, is a really bad evolutionary strategy. I can see a time in the not too distant future where leftist hatred of humanity culminates in their effective extinction through the unnatural and self-destructive choices of childlessness and anti-family bigotry. Well, it can't happen soon enough, and it can happen to a nicer group.